This is an independence edition of Diaspora Weekly. Ghana is 66, or at least in about a few days. But I had to call on a brother of mine living in the Netherlands to talk independence. So this Diaspora Weekly is dedicated to independence number 66 for Mother Ghana. So on that note, let me introduce to you my brother, NII Ocquaye Hammond. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, my brother. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. Patriotism is an essential commodity in Ghana these days. You have plenty. And that's why I called you. We're going to talk about that. But first, tell my viewers, who is NII Ocquaye Hammond? Okay,
yeah. Well, I was born in Accra, Mamprobi, in 1961. Grew up partly in Mamprobi, and then we moved to Mataheko, and then we moved to Dakuman, and then I moved to Dansoman. Then I moved to Asori-Dahu, and then I moved to Legon, and then I moved out of the country to the Netherlands. And I've been here for the past 36 years. I have been moving in and out of go back. So I am a child of two worlds at this moment.
So when you were in Ghana, you moved around. We couldn't get you to.
Can you hear me?
Okay, now I do. I think it trailed off a little bit. But I was asking, when you were in Ghana, we couldn't get you to stay at one place. You moved from place to place, but then you get to Netherlands and you've been at one place for 36 years.
Okay, so like I moved, when I went to the Netherlands for the first time, I was still a student at the University of Ghana.
Okay.
And I went, my first time was to give a lecture at the International Conference for Theater and Television. I mean, looking back, I'll just say a reading. I told them a story of some of the cultural evolutions taking place as in Ghana in the world of writing. I was a member of the Ghana Association of Writers.
Okay.
And I was with people like Atukwe Okain, Carl Mutt, Professor Anido Ho, Dr. Mohammed Ben Abdallah, and many of them. Bill Marshall.
People to groom you.
Yes, they really helped. That's why I'm mentioning the names, because these were people who were our elders, but in those days, they already took us on to the Ghana Association as young men and really helped us to become who we have become today.
Very good. And so you, at that young age, you get to make a presentation in the Netherlands?
Yes.
How did that come about?
Well, while at the university, I met a Dutch research student, and who was very interested in theater and theater studies. She brought a project to the School of Performing Arts in theater for education, which benefited the school a lot. She was the one who met me, had my poems, my poetry, things at the things I used to do, and introduced me to the conference. And then I sent a little paper. Looking back, it was nothing. It was my formative years. Yeah. But I got the chance to come and deliver and tell them something about that development, poetry, popular poetry, and things like that. And then I went back to Ghana, finished my studies, fell in love, and moved to the Netherlands.
Okay.
To live with my love.
The more you talk about theater, poetry, and culture, and all these things, the more it dawns on me that maybe Ghana is not paying adequate attention in that area in terms of leveraging that to project Ghana out there. Do we do enough, too much, or we don't do enough?
We are doing a lot, but I'll tell you something. Culture of a people is a conscious act, is a conscious enterprise. I think we are not doing it collectively, consciously. because there's a lot of initiatives going around there, and I have a lot of respect for some of the wonderful things going on. If you go to the National Theatre, if you look at Niyate's son, Nitete Yate has a theater group, and they're going all over the world. They're a dance group, performing group. So it is there, but we need to work consciously. I remember when Dr. Mohammed Ben Abdullah was minister, he advocated for Center for National Cultures in all regions. And the idea was to create the performance base that will push or help our people to really develop our culture, our identities. But unfortunately, that has not been able to achieve that result. And he has been off the scene for so long.
Okay. If anybody should know, you should know, and I want you to tell us, in the age of information, artificial intelligence, technology, there are those who will say our culture is past its time. How do you marry the two? Culture, which tend to be history-based and all that stuff, with where the world is moving futuristically. How do you marry the two?
Well, anyone who says that our culture has passed its time does not really understand the essence of culture. You see, culture is the sum total of a people's life and their interactions in their own environment. So you have the people, you have their political culture, which we should construct consciously. You have things like we have what we call the artifacts and the mentifacts. The mentifacts are the not tangible heritage things we inherited, like our political systems, like our chieftaincy systems, the Ashanti chieftaincy, the Ewe chieftaincy system, the Ga, So if culture indeed is the sum total of a people's way of life within their environment, then it's a conscious thing. So all those things that we inherited from our ancestors, we are also empowered to transform to fit the times. So if one understands culture, you would know that it is a conscious endeavor. I can quote what Dr. Abdullah told me about Ayikwe Amma, his view on culture. He said the culture of a people is like the heart of a people. If you don't hear from it, it looks like it's going all right. But the moment you hear from it, then something must have gone very wrong. Right. So if we manage our culture very well, it will be like a healthy heart beating in a healthy body.
Right. I mean, I get all that, but is it possible to marry our culture with where the world is going? Because when I look at the world, we're going technology, artificial intelligence, space science, electricity, nuclear, and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So where you can see that there is progression in where the world is going and where others are going, our culture appears static, at least to the naked eye. And that is why I'm saying that, how do we evolve our culture in such a way that it moves with the times?
Well, there is a movement going on. And like I said, we should make a conscious effort to be to really update what we understand by culture. You see, it's also about what people understand by culture. I once spoke to somebody about 15, 16 years ago, somebody who was in a very powerful position. I said, what is going to happen with our culture? What is there a cultural policy? And then he said, you see, when you talk about culture policy, when I was a child, I went to the Kumasi Cultural Center and there were dances and things like that. And then you have it wrong. Culture is more than just the culture, the music and dance. It has to do with our politics, our way, the traditional way of doing things. It has to do with our religions, our social
culture, our
everything, our food culture.
But you would agree with me, though. You would agree with me, though, that in Ghana we've negated that aspect of culture. That's really what my question was about, because we are more than just drumming and dancing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that aspect of ours where you have children, a young lady in Kumasi was making bicycle out of bamboos and all that stuff, right? Yeah. But when we talk about culture, we don't talk about that. We only talk about kente, drumming, dancing, that's it.
Exactly. That is my point. Mm-hmm. We need to become aware. The cultural awareness has to come. Okay. You see, if you go to
but how do we do that though? How do we do that?
We tend, as a people, we tend to see our traditions, our cultural things as backward, outdated. Mm-hmm. You know, we tend to see it as something connected to a past heathen practice. Mm-hmm. There are people who don't want to go and eat kpokpoe at Homowo because they think it has been fed to their ancestors. Mm-hmm. You know. And that is part of the problem. Okay. You know, the more, what I can tell you is that we can only begin to grasp the sense of our culture when we really understand what it's about, because we don't seem to know what it's about. I'll give you an example. Mm-hmm. I'll give you a short story. There is this video going around on social media of some police officers and soldiers in Benin who were swearing an oath before they enter into the snake temple. You know, they put the snake around their heads, and if you, the suggestion was that if you are a bad person, you swear or not, you'll be correct, and if you don't, the snake will kill you. Okay. Now, these snakes were pythons, small pythons. They were not really big, but they had the priest there who puts it around you, and then he will, after a time, will take it off and you go inside. If you swear on that snake that it will kill you, it will kill you. The snake will not bite you and kill you because pythons don't bite. Mm-hmm. But in your head, you have created the space for that entity that is reposed. I mean, that is symbolized by the snake to take your life. So you swear on it. It makes sense to them. It might not make sense to us. Mm-hmm. But you see, let's make our culture make sense to us. And we may not want to swear by the snake. Even if you take the sword of the state, the words you speak mm-hmm. must reflect your culture, not somebody else's culture. Yeah. Must reflect the essence of the office you're taking. Okay. And yeah, well, that's an example.
So if I hear you saying that our culture must be contemporalized, is that what I'm hearing you say? In other words, there's a contemporary aspect of our culture that we need to heed, we need to pay attention to, but we negate it and only be. But there are those who will say that if you contemporalize culture, you are diluting it. What do you say?
That is not necessarily true, because it has to. That's why certain people have been empowered. That's why not just everybody can bring changes to mm-hmm. traditions, cultural practices. Not everybody can do that. There are people who are empowered to do that because they have the wisdom of their ancestors. They know the lies and the things that the charges are called, what I call the ancestral charge, mm-hmm. is to make sure that you live your life today while benefiting from what your ancestors have done. Make your life today benefit those yet unborn. That is the main ancestral charge. You know, if we forget that, we will lose the link with with future generation. We will destroy the present for the future, and then we will be wrong and we will be wiped out.
Okay, very good. Now we move to, so you fell in love with Netherlands and you moved back and you've been there since.
I fell in love with the woman in the Netherlands.
See, I knew there was more to it than
I fell in love with a woman. I was young and it was amazing, full of energy, and she was a very kind person, a very good person, and I couldn't live my life without her. Well,
oh wow!
And that is why I ended up here. Okay. Well, things developed, man grew, and gradually your eyes get open to certain facts of life. Unfortunately, our relationship ended.
Okay.
And unfortunately, but we are. But then I picked up things. I learned new things that I think I want to share with my people. You know,
Okay.
I got a certain awareness of what my culture, who I was in Ghana, and who I am here. And I can tell you that I have been able to contribute a lot with other Ghanaians to better our lot here in the Netherlands.
And that's what I wanted to talk to you about, the Ghanaian community in Netherlands. It's a very prominent one. It's a very prominent community in the Netherlands.
It is.
What can you say about that community?
I would like to start by saying that, you see, I give a small speech. I prepared a speech that was called "The Evolution of a People in the Netherlands," and that is the Ghanaian community. You know, when we came here in the mid-80s, the society, everyone lived for himself, each for himself, God for us all. The Ghanaians were even seen as asylum seekers. Generally, we were not seen as solid migrants, bona fide members of the societies. And unfortunately, many of us saw ourselves then as second-class citizens, third-class citizens. We just have to make our money, live in our small world, and get out of here as quickly as possible. Now, some of the activities that some Ghanaians got together and thought, no, that's not what it's about. We are a people, we want to be recognized as a people here with our qualities, and you have to deal with us like that. Mm-hmm. We even advocated that people and unregistered people should not be treated like dirt and stuff like that, like criminals, you know. Mm-hmm. And there are three things that really pushed that Ghanaian, that collective goal. Mm-hmm. One was, I did a two-part documentary with the Dutch Broadcasting Company called The True Colors of Paradise, mm-hmm. where I looked at the dream of Europe as a paradise for someone living in Ghana, myself, and then coming here and realizing that it's not really a paradise, mm-hmm. and that we are having really tough time here, many people. That was the first step. And then we did the first Ghanaian Durbar in the Netherlands. In fact, probably the first Ghanaian Durbar ever anywhere in the world. It was a national Durbar in Amsterdam. So people came from all over the place. And later on, that concept was exported to other places in Europe, to the US and things like that. You know, it snowballed.
What year was that?
I think it was in 1991.
1991, okay.
Yeah, I think that there had been manifestations for sure of cultural things in different areas. But then this showcased a Ghanaian Durbar where the leaders of the various ethnic nations came dressed and empowered as the chiefs of those people.
You see, the reason why I ask is that because I bumped into Ghana Fest in Chicago in 1994. And I fell in love, all right? And I think the last time they're in their 33rd or so year. So I think right around the same time that you did, I was one. And it is so powerful.
That is identity. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We are powerful beyond measure when we stay within, when we use our own identity and cultural values to push our point.
Yeah.
You know, so when that was the second one, I said the first one was the True Colors of the second one was the Durbar, and the third one, unfortunately, was when the El Al, the Israeli cargo airplane crashed in the Belma, killing a lot of Ghanaians. You know, we drew all these three things, made us very active. The Dutch society accepted us. They sympathized with us. They gave us opportunities to develop. And that is where the development came, you know. Like I said, the Durbar had many influence, including uniting a certain group of diasporic Africans, not just Ghanaians, with the Ghanaian identity and cultures. For example, the Surinamers, the Antilles, some of them thought, hey, the Surinamese saw the Akan tradition and they knew that the Akan tradition was theirs because they have Akans. They call them Okans in Suriname.
Yeah.
You know, so they immediately joined hands and started doing things together.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say that I work with Surinamese and others to bring the slave monument in Amsterdam, you know, for the making of it.
That's good.
And the consecration of it by Babalao from Ile-Ife. It was great. It was great. But
in fact, recently, a lady who lives in the Netherlands, Nas Herkel, was in the studio of DNT, and she was interviewed by one of my presenters, and she mentioned the Kwaku Festival.
The Kwaku Festival,
Kwaku Festival. And it turned out that my presenter was Kwaku, so he was very happy. I tease Kwaku people that of the 7 boys, Kwaku's are always the bad boy. So I tease him all the time. And so he had a field day with that. But you see, the Durban that you're talking about, I want to ask a question about it because recently also there was an issue, a question raised by a prominent pastor here. I'm not going to get into name because I've already responded. But the assertion was that when, for some reason, when Ghanaians leave Ghana, we forget our nationhood. What do you say to that?
That's absolutely untrue. You see, if you see my experience in the 36 years that I have been here, is that if you see a Ghanaian who is cowed by circumstances, you know, and it cannot be free, even deep down, he has his identity. He uses it. We go to parties and people are singing Samamo, you know.
Right.
And the whites there are dancing with us, drinking with us, and having fun with us, you know. So that identity thing is very strong. I mean, Ghanaians don't leave their identities. Okay. There are countries and communities that some people get into, and they feel oppressed or cowed or not given the opportunity to be themselves. Yeah. And that can happen because if you go to Rome, you do as the Romans do. If you are not allowed to do certain things, you won't do it. You know, but it is not like we forget our culture.
This is leading perfectly into the gist of this interview, which is the Global Independence Celebration that we're going to talk about. But before we go there, quick question. If Ghana Blaster is playing the Netherlands national team, Ghanaians in the Netherlands, inside Netherlands, which team do you guys support?
Well, I can tell you that we will support 90% will support Ghana because we always support the Dutch national team when they are playing other nations.
Yes.
But then when they are playing your home country, of course, we know they are brilliant and our chances in certain cases can be small, but you know, I took drums. I took what they call achemevu. Achemevu is the big drums of the ever drum set, the Agbaja drum set and the Conga drum set, the big one, tall one. We took it, and when I think the Ghanaians under 20 team came here somewhere in 91 or something like that, we took it to the stadium, FC Groningen Stadium, and nobody, we didn't even have to pay, and we went to support them. You know, we went and played, and it was. We started a real revolution where white supporters started shouting, "Ofun, Ofun, Ri, Ri," you know, which is Ofun and Ri, like Ghanaians used to do. You know, if your own player takes the ball, you say Ri, Ri, and when the opponent takes it, we say Ofun, Ofun, and they started shouting it. So
wow,
if you are. I think that being who we are, our identity, without being offensive to anybody, are one of the most powerful instruments we have to assert ourselves.
That's precisely what you want to project at this global independence celebration. I think this is the first online, to my knowledge, global independence celebration where more than 20 countries are going to be represented. Tell us about it.
Yeah, you see, the it is time that we know ourselves. We get recognition for who we are, you know. Time was when Ghanaians abroad were seen as at home. Well, it still goes on that when we come home, we are seen like, we are too known, you are too known, you think you have learned something. But we are Ghanaians, and we contribute such a powerful, we make such a powerful contribution to the economy of our states. We take care of our families, you know, even in these difficult times. Most of our family members depend on us. I'm not saying myself alone, but we give the bulk of remittances, which I mean, I think about, was it 15 years ago, the Dutch government stopped they call it ontwikkeling samenwerking, which means development cooperation monies. They had monies that they give to certain, they stopped it because they discovered that the Ghanaians, the money we remit to the nation monthly was so huge that there was no point in continuing with that thing.
Okay, now you've got my attention. The Dutch government,
yes,
stopped a program that they were doing for international communities.
Like including Ghana. But
they saw that that amount was minuscule compared to what Ghanaians in Netherlands
themselves were doing. Yes, and so certain politicians discussed it. I cannot give you the names and the figures, but I can look it up. They discussed it and thought that, hey, if these people are getting this nation is getting so much from their Ghanaians living here, so why should we continue that? Because so much money is going there anyway. And they stopped it.
Wow. Yeah. And now 2022, it can be documented that Ghanaians all over the world brought in 6.2 billion plus.
Well, I saw that statistic. Very impressive. So you see, Ghanaians abroad are Ghanaians, where you can call us. How many regions do we have in Ghana now? We have, I think,
16.
16. We are the 17th region of the nation, and we cannot be underplayed because our contributions to the nation is huge, and it is time that we make our presence felt. And you said something that I admit I haven't heard anywhere else. The 17th region. Yeah. Do you know the impact of that statement? Yes, my brother. Abroad, 17th region. Yeah. Now, in terms of financial contributions, I'm sure we will put to bed. No other region gives as much as we do. But the concept of 17th region can be leveraged upon to get Ghanaians abroad seats in parliament. That should be possible. That should be possible. That should be possible because we are interested in what is happening in Ghana. When it gets tough in Ghana, we are the redeemers. We are the saviors. You know, because purely, if I should buy a plot of land in Ghana, I give money to the chief. If I should start developing it, I give money to the mason. And the mason can pay his child's school fees. I give jobs to the laborer and everything. And what I have for may be a house that I will never sleep in till I die. Many people are doing that. But that's just part of the story. But the Ghanaian at home will tell you that you don't live here, you don't pay taxes, so you cannot vote. They don't understand. And that's why we have to engage them and let them know the truth. Because people speak from their emotions. You know, when I come to Ghana and I see certain things, there are people, the moment you meet, they're going to say, yes, and that's how we do it here. You're talking too much and things like that. We are not just talking too much. We are contributing a lot. So, and if we have wisdom to share with you or any knowledge that can move the country forward, please, we need to be allowed to share it, you know, and this is what we have to try and negotiate with our people back home. When you buy an air ticket to Ghana, when I pay for my ticket, I see the breakdown. Sometimes the ticket is minuscule compared to the associated taxes, right? Yeah. Yeah. So if I come to Ghana 3 times a year, or even let's say once, right, which is the average, once a year, Yeah.
And the taxes on my ticket is about $200.
Yeah.
That they pay London fees and all that stuff to Ghana. My ticket alone, forget about the building that I paid, the cement and the VAT that I paid on it and all that stuff. My ticket alone, the taxes on my ticket alone, arguably is more than the taxes paid by the average citizen a year.
That is true.
Do the maths.
That is true. Because if there are people who, even those who don't have jobs, pay some VAT and things like that. But even the money, some of them, the money they use to live is already from me.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, so I have a kid brother who doesn't have a job, so I send him money.
Okay.
And he every ball of or every tin of milk he buys, if there's VAT on it, he's also paying it.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. So how do we participate in this global independence celebration?
Well, we have
online.
We have the Global Diaspora Council, and they have their representatives all over the place. And there's this poster going around informing them of the celebration of the 66. It's just a 90-minute program of short stories, patriotic songs like from Ephraim Amu, and we being thankful for Ibikam, for what our pioneers have done for us. You know, just 90 minutes, and people talking to reposition ourselves in the minds, in our own minds, and in the minds of our people. And this, like you said, we have over 20 countries involved, and hopefully we'll be able to manage that on the internet.
Right. If all 20 representatives give a minute or two reports, that alone is about 40 half the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but we will not everyone is going to talk on the celebration. We just choose a couple of people to do that.
Yeah. But I think, I mean, this is just a suggestion. Wouldn't it be great if it's a global independence celebration to get a hello from Japan, hey from Australia, you know?
That would be fantastic. But you see, I wonder whether we have the internet engines to stabilize 100 people and even make these contacts.
Oh yeah, I think the engine does. I think the engine does. Yeah,
that would be cool. That would be nice if we can do that. You know.
Yeah. So are you calling from countries to represent? Because Ghanaians are everywhere. Here they're in Iceland.
I think that this call should reach out to every Ghanaian wherever you are in the four corners of the globe, and then make yourself known to the Global Diaspora Council and participate, because like I said, it is the 17th region, and I can assure you that within a short time that we say I've seen by future, within a foreseeable future, we will all play a major role in what goes on in Ghana.
And what time is this?
I hope that within 3 years that we will be having serious conversations with each other and with our leaders in Ghana.
But I'm saying that the event is Monday, March 6th.
That's right. Yeah.
And fortunately for you and me, Ghana, we say, is the center of the world. So when it's 12 noon in Ghana, everybody else can adjust their time from wherever they are around the world. Is that correct?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
correct.
So it's Monday.
That's 12 noon in Ghana is 12 noon GMT. Yeah.
GMT, yes. 12 noon in Ghana, GMT, Monday, March 6th, the Global Independent. And how do we get on? Is that going to be a Zoom link or whatever?
Well, I believe that the celebration will start in the evening, or otherwise I will talk with my committee. It has been announced that it will be in the evening, but that will be Ghana time 7 o'clock, and then. But if it's we still can talk.
Okay, so let's just say the time is not settled until later. Maybe that'll come along.
Yeah, that will come. Yes, yes, definitely. Yeah.
Very good. My brother, NII Ocquaye Hammond.
Yes, my brother Nkrumah. And you have a very powerful name.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I think after seeing your beard, I'm going to start growing mine to that size.
Well, thank you very much.
Tiny. Thank you for gracing Diàspora Weekly. This is Diàspora Weekly on DNT. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah, and we're joined by NII Ocquaye Hammond from.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome.
Take care.